Hi, guys. It's Wednesday, March 17th, and you're tuning in to 2.5 Hoopers, Bobby Jackson's favorite basketball podcast. We had a good show for you guys. We're going to recap the last few days of ball. We got George's halftime, as always, and then give some trades we want to see happen before the March 25th NBA trade deadline. But remember, if you like what you hear, make sure to check our socials, Instagram and Twitter, all at THHoopers. If you drop a comment anywhere, we'll shout you out for giving us support. Appreciate y'all.
Did we get any last time?
But moving right into this, I got Josh with me.
Yes.
Say hi.
Oh, hello. It is. Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were introducing. It's St. Patty's Day, and it doesn't look like anybody else is partaking. But I didn't know. I thought you wanted me to introduce something else.
It is too damn late for y'all.
There's nothing to introduce besides yourself. All right, George. Try and know the intro a little better than Josh.
Hello, everybody. How was everybody's day? St. Patty's Day. Pinch of green. Nowhere to be seen on me.
Yeah, I guess so. But moving around to basketball, Monday, March 15th, we had a good slate of games. Some weren't as good, though, so I'll rattle off these few right here. Bucks take down the Wiz, 133-122. Spurs beat the Pistons, 109-99. Pacers follow the Nuggets, 121-106. Suns beat the Grizzlies, 122-99. And Lakers beat the Warriors, 128-97. Yeah, a few blowouts there, a few games that don't really matter a lot as far as standing implications, so we'll kind of glaze over those. But starting off the dialogue, though, we do have the Hornets beating the Kings, 116-122. This game was a fun watch as Hornets took over in the fourth due to a scary Terry clutch bucket and Gordon Hayward being key on both ends. What did y'all see from this one? I'll start with George.
Yeah, Charlotte hoops are fun. Gordon Hayward dunked on
Hum
De'Aaron
diddly
Fox.
dee.
Yeah, Eric Collins with the hum diddly dee. Yeah, so sucks to see Sacramento continuing to fall.
I love it.
I'm really surprised that Bolton's still a head coach, but yeah, their comeback, they're continuing to rise in the standings, and they're building good habits coming back, even if it's against a team as low as Sacramento. It's still building good habits. So we'll see continuing to play good. LaMelo's looked great out there. He definitely outdueled Tyrese. Some people were like, oh, rookie of the year is not that close, and LaMelo's continuing to play well. His passing and playmaking is really great too.
Joshua.
Kind of what I've taken away from the Hornets' recent stretch of close games is that they really look at Terry Rozier as the number one guy at the end of the game. Yep. And it kind of blew my mind. Honestly, there's not too much to say. Like George said, the Kings are kind of falling. LaMelo Ball is a lot more than the stats are kind of showing recently. Mm-hmm. I think the Hornets are succeeding a bit more when he doesn't shoot as much or when he doesn't have as much of a stat sheet as we would expect from like a rookie of the year candidate or whatever, but it's obviously working. And I don't know. Devontae Graham kind of is starting to get into that role. And quite honestly, I think there is a situation or a scenario where they keep all of their players and kind of just try to attack free agency in a unique way, because if Devontae Graham can come off the bench and be that like Lou Will spark plug type of player for them, and Rozier keeps playing the way he's playing, they honestly are kind of building like a good culture and a kind of a good core. So good for them.
Well, you say the Devontae Graham kind of finding his role thing, which he was. He had 12 points, which is that kind of Lou Will really want come and start shot chucking. But Malik Monk did struggle in this one, which was kind of his job as a sixth man. He had 5 points in 15 minutes, 2 for 8. I didn't make a 3. So do you consider Malik Monk as like keeping their players, or is he just going to go no matter what? Just because MJ does love him and he was putting up good numbers. He had a few 30-point games.
Well, he also didn't play a lot of minutes. I think he only played like 12 or something like
15
that.
minutes.
Yeah, it was a lot of Devontae Graham this time. And honestly, like if they can just find like either of them to be more consistent. I've been a Malik Monk fan for a while and all that, but it's honestly, I don't really think they got to worry about bodies. And that's kind of a thing that's been a recent struggle with a lot of teams. So as of right now, I think just run out the rest of the year with this core and then try to make some decisions depending on your free agency success.
George, do you see Terry Rozier in a long-term backcourt with LaMelo Ball?
Yeah, I definitely don't think he's the odd man out. I definitely
think they will have to re-sign him. I believe he has 2 years left.
Yeah, and
he's on that same Kemba track before that when they were both.
Yeah, and the fact that, like Josh said, that they're going to him late game, I think that's really telling in where they see him as a player. So yeah, I don't see him going anywhere.
Perfect. Moving on, Battle of the Borough was didn't disappoint as it comes down to the wire, and we almost saw our first player versus ref fist fight. But nonetheless, the refs beat the Knicks 112-117. Randall had 33 and 12, and Kyrie had 34. Josh, did you see what you wanted from this game?
Yes, I did. I saw
I
a
did
battle,
too. Good look
battle
at
of the Barclays Centers. A very good game.
That was supposed
Sorry,
to be mine.
George. Sorry, George, for taking it from you. But Emmanuel quickly got his first start. I quite honestly am not too big of a fan. I still kind of like the Derrick Rose starting and him coming off the bench, especially because not have a lot of bodies on the bench. They had Alec Burks and I think Taj Gibson was in there for a little bit, but after that,
24 minutes.
And Obi Toppin plays like a minute a game. But this was
they only went about 3 deep. Yeah, Obi Toppin had 4 minutes, and then Frank Ntilikina was their backup point guard with 17 minutes.
And he had a goose egg, didn't he?
Yep. Goose egg 0 for 5, 0 for 4 for 3.
0 points. And he fouled out. He fouled out of the game.
3 boards though. So
he fouled out. 6 fouls.
Let's see. This is actually not the first ref player fist fight because the Knicks did this, and I think Marcus Camby knocked out Jeff Van Gundy like in 99 or something like that. I can't remember. But I have to apologize for what I said about the Knicks playing their best set of basketball, like against, I believe is the Thunder, because they look like they were firing on all cylinders again. I mean, they didn't have the greatest shooting performances because Quickly didn't play that great from the field, but they got to start guarding Reggie Bullock, other teams, because he's kind of a bucket for them. And the Nets, sorry for taking all your time here, George, but the Nets kind of just did their thing. This was definitely I think this is kind of where they started to feel the effect of like not having a lot of players, because I do know the Nets also run kind of 7-8 man deep. I think the Knicks wanted it a bit more. Obviously the Nets just have way too much talent for it to be close, but it was like I think it was like a 10-point game late on. And then the Knicks started to get like the little Tom Thibodeau scrappy plays and get those little pushes. But I mean, I got more than what I wanted for this game. It was a very good game to watch.
So unless George, you have any broad statements to add, I have a few like certain things I noticed from this game I want to get your takes on, but did you notice anything you just want to bring up here?
Just that the Knicks closing defense was very, very good. Brooklyn was held to 21 points in the fourth, which, I think they have like one of the best clutch ratings, clutch time baskets. And the Knicks defense was creating a lot of turnovers. That's basically the biggest thing I took. So yeah, I guess let's just hear what you have to say now, if there's anything even left.
Well, there's 2 things here. One for the Nets. What do you guys think about them kind of going big in a sense for the Nets? They started Uncle JG, who has kind of been a center the last 2 years, and then they also had DeAndre in there. So what do you think about them? And then they benched Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown only had 7 minutes. I don't like that. I don't like that either. So I want to get your guys' take on that. DJ played 30 minutes. Uncle JG 35.
Shamet played 23 minutes and Bruce played 7. That's
Tyler Johnson played 16 minutes, who's been a bench
maybe they're just trying to experiment more with their bench pieces, because their bench only had like roughly 20 points, and I know their starting unit can light up any opposing defense, but that's kind of concerning. But
because we're a Bruce Brown fan on this podcast, we like Bruce Brown here.
Yeah,
so him only getting 7 minutes kind of irked me.
Well, I do like the going big thing, because you have Randall and you have Nerlens Noel, so you need bigger bodies out there.
But Noel 20 minutes, DJ 30.
Yeah, so, well, I mean,
it wasn't a necessity.
Well, they really didn't play. Yeah, I mean,
I think this is a play style thing, in all honesty, because
they're just matching up.
Knicks are just bruisers. Like, they're not gonna light you up from beyond the arc, and they're like a I can't even believe I'm saying old-fashioned 2010 team, but they are. Like Tom Thibodeau, that's how they run their offense. And Julius Randle is like, we can admit we like him, but he's a boring player. He doesn't do anything flashy. He does a couple spin moves. And like, I just think it was like a decision by Steve Nash. Is like George said, like, like get some more rotational pieces in there and just kind of match their style of play, because I mean, I don't think it's too big of an issue, because I think they know how valuable Bruce Brown is. And on top of that, they just kind of want to log more minutes for Harden and Kyrie going into playoffs, because again, Harden still looks like a potato, and
that's Kyrie just Irving, how he is. I don't think
Kyrie Irving,
you want to play James Harden minutes in the regular season, when that's the whole point of getting him here, so he's like more regular season kind of off.
He's like Shaq. It's like warm him up for the playoffs. games.
Don't say James Harden is Shaq.
I honestly don't think his body's going to change. Like, I think this is just how he is. Like,
Yeah,
how he looks.
He's round. That's just how he is.
He's average. He played 40 in this game. He's averaged like at least high 30s from what I could tell.
He doesn't make it past the 3-point line on other sides. He's not going coast to coast. Like
he conserves his body. It's methodical.
He load manages within the game while playing 40 minutes.
Smart.
One more thing on the box score. Pray for Reggie Bullock. 43 minutes in this one. Good player. Holy hell, Reggie Bullock.
Shot 50% from 3. I guess it's really all you can ask for him.
He's like good. He had 19 minutes. Yeah.
Couldn't do that when he was on the Lakers. Damn you, Magic, for trading Svi.
He played good. He played good on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Don't shout at Svi Mikhailov.
He's a very underappreciated 3.
We're kind of elephant in the room here. Last play. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on it. The Randall 3.
I wish Randall would have hit Scott Foster. He would have done a service for the league.
Anything to add about the play? Do you think it was a travel? You think?
Yeah, Kyrie got the ball, so I wouldn't have really called it a travel. I don't know if you do a jump in that sense or it's just like a no call, but I mean Kyrie did hit the ball, so I don't know.
Josh, what do you think?
I think he should have just kept shooting it. They probably would have gotten like a foul maybe or something.
I don't know.
I think the call was right. I think it's a bang call. Mm-hmm. But
no,
like you when you go up and you he touched the ball, but Randall held the ball still.
True.
If Randall had, and I don't think anyone has this besides the best IQ like LeBron and stuff. But if it gets swiped, you got to let the ball fall and then pick it up.
I agree.
But in that moment, he just held the ball and he jumped up and he came down with it. So I mean, it's, like you said, it's either a jump or it's a travel.
Totally.
So I guess Kyrie only got like maybe a fingernail on it. They were like, we can't call a jump there. So
true.
But yeah, overall, very good game, very good look ahead. Georgia had to scramble last time and pick a new look ahead, but we're gonna talk about it here. It was the Mavs Clips game, and it was pretty solid. He was pretty solid. As the Clips beat the Mavs 109-99 in Dallas. Luka had a triple-double, and the Clips only went 9 men deep, and their leading scorer was Kawhi with only 22. So a lot of good to take from here from both teams. George, what was up this game? You see what you want from this one?
So yeah, the point of me choosing this game was just to see how the Clips bounce back after a tough loss, because I believe this was the second night of a back-to-back. But again, they shot prolific from 3, 44%, and this game was close in the clutch, and they still settled for jumpers. The difference, they made them this time. So I didn't see really anything different. They were overly reliant, but they were 44% from 3. So I mean, I guess you take what you can get, but it's still not good habits in my opinion. And then for the Dallas side, Luka was inefficient, 9 for 23. You can't have that. And I just want to see from like their core, Josh Richardson had a great game the other day, only had 6 here. Maxi Kleber played almost 40 minutes, 3 points. Like you need a lot more from your supporting cast. And the last interesting point, Mavs only run like 8 deep. I don't know. Are they missing anyone key? Because 8 deep for that team doesn't seem bode well.
Really only Boban, and I know they give James Johnson some minutes, but those are the only 2 inactives I saw.
Either
Dwight Powell is missing.
Has he been getting decent minutes when he plays? Okay.
18.
Then yeah. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's
why Tingus is at center. Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm like Kleber's starting. I'm like, that's a little bit interesting. But yeah, that's about it. It was a decent game down the clutch. They made their shots this time. Who knows what happens next time? Because it's a baseball style series. So we'll see more in the next game.
Joshua.
I think Luka kind of made up for it because he had 16 assists.
Triple double.
No, George got a point. What I really took away from this game is it was kind of George has it kind of right on the nose. They were just overly reliant. It really seemed like when the Clippers were making their shots, they'd go up double digits, and then the Mavs would like claw their way back to like a 2-1 point deficit. And then the Clippers would go on a little run, and then the Mavs would kind of target back. And that was like the whole atmosphere of the game. I think at one point there was like 3 minutes left, and the Mavs were only down 1. And I was like, oh, the Mavs are going to take it. And then the Clippers just started making their shots again. I don't know. I don't think that's a very healthy way to hope to win basketball games. But
for a team with championship aspirations like the Clippers, did you see anything good here? Because I'm looking at this, I'll name some stuff that they got the W, which is all that matters, but some stuff I didn't like. Kawhi, 40 minutes. Not a fan of that. PG, 5 for 18, like usual. Couldn't really hit much. But they also did let's see, let me just quick math here. They had a 6-player score between 12 and 15 points, which is, do you like that kind? Do you think that's what the Clippers need?
Yeah.
Is kind of doing it by like getting a lot of contributions from the bench.
Yeah, I mean, any championship contending team, you need a good production from your bench. I mean, every year you need that. And I guess another good thing I saw held a prolific Mavs offense to under 100 points, and their defense has been slipping as of late a little bit. So that's good to see. Yeah.
Every championship team. Anyways, I think that we need to acknowledge the fact that they held the Mavs to only 3 scores over double digits, and the rest of them
basically what I just said.
Oh, well, anyways, yeah, I mean, I guess what George said, sure, that I was kind of hung up on the other thing you said, but
that's kind of like a Mavs thing though. Like they're pretty top heavy, especially when they only give Trey Burke, who's their
but there's some games
like their second best bench scorer, only 6 minutes.
Yeah, but the thing is, like earlier in the year, like the first time they met up, the Mavs like lit them up. I think like everybody that played more than 10 minutes.
They lost by 50.
They were in shambles, and like this time, it
was
like
Santa's
a completely
fault. It was
different
Santa's
game.
fault.
Remember,
Paul George was like, everyone celebrated Christmas, so that's why
too much eggnog.
Oh, but yeah. Anything else to add, George, here from your look ahead?
Nah.
All right, so moving on. Tuesday, March 16th. Like I said, we'll cut the fluff here. Heat beat the Cavs 98-113. Bulls beat the Thunder. Shout out Costa Pravis 102-123. Hawks beat the Rockets 119-107. I will add this here. Hawks now on a 6-game win streak, and the Rockets bring their streak to 17.
17.
That's agony.
No.
And is that winning or losing streak, guys?
Can I say one thing though about the Bulls Thunder game? Mm-hmm. That Giannis guy, that Giannis character you guys were talking about last time, 4 points. Zach LaVine 40. Those are the only 2 things. That's it. That's all I wanted to mention.
Who has a higher ceiling though? LaVine. I would say the Giannis guy. We know what Zach LaVine is. You got some of that there, George? You're gonna.
I'm confused on what comparison he's making.
I'm not. I was just continuing the agenda that I created last time.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, when I'm just running over these kind of blowout games, if you have anything, just stop me. But yeah, Rockets lose 17 in a row. Christian Wood should be coming back decently soon, though, I heard.
They win his first game. We push the Christian Wood MVP narrative.
Yes, we do. First person win MVP without making the playoffs, Christian Wood. And then to end it off, T-Wolves followed the Lakers 121-137. Not a lick of defense played there. I'll give you 15 seconds, George.
Second out of a back-to-back. Yeah, the defense wasn't there. Trez played great. He's looked a lot better. That's about it.
Timberwolves. What do you see from Timberwolves?
Ant Edwards is going to be a star. That's about it.
And Jake Layman got dunked on.
Thank you, Joey, for bringing that up. Thank you, Joey.
Ant and Cat almost had 30.
Really?
That's impressive. They both had
29. Well, like there was no defense played, so it made sense.
Yeah, but on good shooting.
On the games that matter to everyone but George, because he only cares about the Laker games.
That's not true.
TNT doubleheader started off with the Jazz beating the Celtics 117-109. Jazz had a 40-point fourth quarter in this one to hold the Celtics, and Tatum was the Celtics go-to guy as usual. He missed some pretty key buckets that could have swung the game. Josh looks upset. He's a Tatum guy. George hates the Celtics. We're not going to get his opinion here, so I'm going to start with Josh.
That's not true.
Oh,
I know. Gobert. Bon never played the Celtics.
Don't talk about Gobert.
Who are you rooting for, George?
Don't talk about Gobert.
Who were you rooting for, George?
Man.
I didn't even watch this game, so I could care less.
Josh, talk to me, Josh.
This game was, I had a feeling like going into second half, I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. Like Tatum or somebody on the Celtics. I think I was like Tatum. I think I said last podcast, Tatum 45 piece on the Jazz, and it was really looking like it. I was like, oh, he's gonna do something crazy because he's had some pretty wild second halves. But you said it best when you texted me, Marcus Smart selling. That third quarter was an atrocity. I think I saw one Jaylen Brown bucket, and it was Jason Tatum, and that just can't be the Kemba Walker. One of his better games, I would say, at 43%.
Yeah, that's one of the better ones.
Yeah, Daniel Tice had the double though, so good for him. I don't know, man. Like,
no Tristan Thompson here, so they're running a lot of Robert Williams as
COVID
well.
protocol.
Which who I honestly like just because of how long he is. I think he's like a 7'7" wingspan. But this is a game the Jazz should have lost because I don't know. Like, they shot fantastic from.
Should
three,
they have lost then?
They shot from fantastic from 3, but it just really felt like the Celtics had the game. Like, they were always in
I had
reach.
an agenda and a narrative ready to push it with this Jazz. I was like, see, they're shooting jumpers in the clutch. They're not making them. They're going to lose. And then Donovan Mitchell happened. So it was kind of hard to push the narrative now, but I still kind of agree that it seemed like every fourth quarter shot they got was a catch and shoot 3, which in theory are great shots, but like you got to just give Mitchell the ball and let him go to work. Like, because Mitchell can get you that buck whenever they want, but he's ties the team in assists. But like when it comes down to winning time, let Mitchell get you that bucket because he can.
I don't know.
I don't want Bojan shooting the game-winning shot. I want Donovan Mitchell with the ball in his hands last 2 minutes. So, George, what? Anything to add just as far as bigger picture because you're too lazy to watch the game?
No, I got to watch the end of the game slightly. I didn't watch it in full, but one thing that kind of got to my mind was their clutch time offense is interesting. It's almost like if Tatum doesn't deliver, it just goes to hell. And, like Josh said, Marcus Smart would have possessions where he's like doing like triple threat jab step size ups and taking threes while Tatum's, shooting 50% and from 3 in the field.
I'll shoehorn this in here. Marcus Smart, 25 minutes, 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3.
Yeah. And there was just too many times like down the stretch where it was just kind of jump shot hunting too. And the Jazz shot 44%. They win. It's just, I feel like this is dumb to say where, if they shoot great, they're going to win. And, if they don't, they're going to lose. But I mean, with this team specifically, if they can't hit their threes at an amazing clip, we've seen it. They're not going to win bigger games.
What do you think about just the way they rely on the 3 in comparison to the 2018 Rockets, the one that lost in 7 to the Warriors?
I feel like the Rockets had a different style though because
they're built differently, but the rely on the 3 is so very similar.
Yeah, but see, like the thing that the Rockets had is they had Chris Paul, who is a prolific mid-range shooter. Clint Capella, Harden and him ran great pick and roll and had a lob threat. I mean, Rudy's a lob threat, but I don't know.
Are you saying Utah's only way of scoring is really those catch and shoot 3s? Because I know that's their main bread and butter, but like, do you? It's also because
the ball movement is great, but what concerns me is going into the postseason, the game slows down. It's a lot more half court oriented. I don't know if you're going to be getting these, possessions where you're passing the ball 6-7 times around the key and getting open shots because that's what they do.
As a Jazz hater, I'll disagree there. The ball movement will stick for the playoffs because they have Quinn Snyder as a good coach and they have that continuity. Okay. I'm just saying, do you see another like let's say they have run that problem where the rock's just not falling. They're not shooting their 3s well. Do you not see different because they had Donovan Mitchell, which I think he can just go on his runs. He can admit he's a 3-level scorer, but. You saw the weapons the Rockets had when things weren't going good. Do you see those same weapons with the Utah Jazz this season?
I mean, there's definitely similarities, but I don't know. If they have an abysmal night like that, I don't know. I don't think they can recover enough because outside of Spida, I mean, Clarkson can sort of 3-level score, but I mean, he takes a lot of jumpers. Ingles, Boyan, when they struggle, there's not much more they can offer.
Any thoughts on this, Josh?
I don't know if the Jazz are going to struggle to the point where they might drop a game or 2 because of their poor shooting, but the way they've been shooting now, it's kind of hard to bet against them. I don't like, I know this is kind of hard. Like, this is kind of obvious to say, but I just don't like the Rudy Gobert situation. Like, he's just such a liability on offense that like it gets to the point where teams just are like, okay, don't go in the paint. We'll just light them up. And like, if the Jazz
how'd that go for the Celtics?
Not great. Actually.
Because you saw, and we're hating on the Jazz here. We'll continue this conversation a little bit. I mean, the Celtics were settling for jumpers, just like every other team, it seems like this year. And you could say like, oh yeah, there's a blueprint. I say it all the time, this blueprint to beat the Jazz, just make Rudy Gobert stretch out to the perimeter. Not everyone has that. When you can't go in the attack the cup like that, like it starts to really wear on you guys. You're thinking, we got to take another 3. We have to take another 3. And then it's just Tatum there because I didn't see Jaylen Brown this game, like you mentioned. And he just kicks to Marcus Smart, another clank. So like you can say we don't like Rudy Gobert like all we want, he's still very, very effective on defense.
Yeah, but here's the issue with that. Now we're gonna get into the playoffs where we'll get to teams that really don't have the Celtic style of play, because I know we're talking about that. Right now, the bottom is Mavericks, Warriors, even the Spurs might slip a little bit, but like those three teams, like I don't know, like they don't really need that much like in the paint. Like I think but all those teams work very well around the Jazz. And then you get into like the second round. I'm just saying like for the playoffs, it's kind of an issue just because how tough the Western Conference is. But I don't know. It's very difficult to bet on them because when they do have bad shooting nights, it does show, but I don't think it's going to be like consistently bad. Like they might have like a continuous like they might have like one bad like game 3 each round.
You're saying it's unfair for us to be like they're just going to stop hitting shots. Like you think some
and it's just going to stop for like 5 games.
The Rockets literally broke a record. They missed 27 in a row and they only lost by like 8.
And the Rockets also only went like 7 men deep. Like Jazz got 10. Like Jazz got shooters. So
but no, I do agree. The two things that will bother them in the playoffs is the fact that it seems like at sometimes they don't want Donovan Mitchell to have the ball at the end of the game, and the Rudy Gobert situation, just because I think the lower seeds in the Western Conference are much more like well thought out and planned very well against Dusty Gogurt. So
solid. All right. Moving on from that game, Philly led a huge comeback without Embiid and go on to beat the Knicks 96-99 at home. 2 tough losses in a row for the Knicks. But Toby Harris had 30 and Ben Simmons filled the stat sheet in multiple ways like he always does. Knicks lose another close game here after falling to the Nets. What did y'all see here? I'll start with George.
Yeah, so it's been really great to see without Embiid playing. Kind of Tobias Harris stepping up in a huge way and also saying I'm an all-star and saying he has a bounty on all those coaches' heads that didn't vote for him. So I expected the Sixers to fall, but I mean it's really good to see that they're able to maintain games against these teams because come playoff time, you know, one of their bigger problems was, I mean, they really haven't had Simmons and Embiid. They didn't have them together last year, but you need guys like Toby, Simmons, Curry, hopefully Danny Green, but I don't know, to step up because in a series against the Nets, you're going to need everything. And I know their defense is there. Their defense has been good. They kept the Knicks to under 100, right? I believe.
Yes.
Both teams were kept under 100.
So that's a good trend. And yeah, I mean, you can plug in Embiid easily to that and their offense will be right back to where it was.
One thing I've noticed here, Seth Curry kind of stepping up.
Yeah, he's been huge for them.
Yeah, like Danny Green tonight. Like because they were
trending on Twitter again.
They were supposed to be yin and yang, kind of like Kelly Oubre and Wiggins. They're supposed to be yin and yang, just their wing players that shoot threes. And Seth Curry has outplayed Danny Green a lot. And I mean, as Laker fans, we saw even though Danny Green's not hitting, he gives you defense. Plus, teams are still kind of scared of him in the corner, so they treat him like a shooter still. But yeah, 1 for 7 from 3, 1 for 10 overall.
So yeah, one more thing that Philly shot 40% from the field and also held the Knicks to 14 fourth quarter points. So on one end, it's a troubling sign to see shooting, but with your defense holding that Knicks team to only 14 points, that's a good sign moving forward.
Josh,
they might have when fully healthy, they might have the 2 best defensive players this year.
I agree.
Yeah, no, like George said, it's going to be so funny when Tobias Harris goes back to his typical 12 points on 4 of 13 shooting when Joel Embiid gets back. But I mean, yeah, this is tough for the Knicks. I mean, these are the games that are going to keep them in that playoff race. They're 8th now, and they're only half a game away from the Bulls, who've won like a couple recently.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know if they're going to be able to slide back into that top 6 because the Hawks look to be. Like I think they got a few more games till the coach thing wears off, but they look kind of for real. They kind of look for real.
I did say in that one episode, the Knicks were the team I expected to slip the most.
Congratulations. As I was saying,
lost to the 76ers and the Nets.
Continuing with the thing, it really looks like the East is kind of shaping form now. Like with the West, you don't really know because it's like a win-loss, but with the East, the top 5 seeds are all in a 4-game winning streak or more, with Nets, Heat at 5, Sixers at 6. The Hawks are 7th with 6 in a row. So it kind of looks like they're kind of developing that top heavy scheme that we kind of always see toward the end of the year, where like we see like some like the top 3 teams kind of be like the shining armor. But these are tough losses for the Knicks, and it's just so funny watching Tobias Harris score the ball. Like I have such a love-hate relationship with him because it's so funny seeing him put buckets on the board. And obviously, because like Philadelphia, I don't really have a thing against, big fan of their roster and coach. And on the other side, I also hate when he doesn't produce when he's supposed to, because, he's kind of the reason they picked him over Jimmy Butler. So, but yeah, other than that, nothing.
Well, to finish this up here, you did have a point where it's kind of taking shape now because there's more separation and there's the teams going on winning streaks. But the East is still a little bit more clumped than the West. The 4 seed and 10 seed are separated by 4 games in the East, and then I believe the 10 seed and 6 seed for the West is separated by 4.5 games. So it's a little more cut and dry in the West. But like you said, we're kind of seeing which teams are for real now with the Heat going on the winning streak, the Hawks going on the winning streak. So I like what you said there.
Yeah, it's a little bit more forming, but it's still very, very clustered.
The second half of the TNT doubleheader was my look ahead, and the Pelicans finally disappointed me on national TV, losing the Blazers 125-124. This game had a wild finish, so I'm not going to waste any time. What happened here? Because I looked away for a second, and I didn't know the Pelicans lost. So it was Dame time.
Dame time happened, yes.
George, tell me about
it. So one stat I actually want to bring up.
Plus minus.
No. No. The Pelicans, when leading by double digits, have lost 11 games. So that's really concerning, because if they win those games,
good stat.
If they win those games, yeah, thank you, Reggie Miller. Thank you, TNT. They win those games, they're a solidified playoff team. So that's really concerning. And like, this team isn't that young. I mean, BI is, he's been
6th youngest in the league though.
6th youngest in the league overall, but I mean, the core has been together a little bit. I mean, new coach could be a little bit reason, but they couldn't really get anything to go in the 4th. And I mean, Blazers were hitting everything. It was just like another case of a team just choking a game away. Everything was going right for the Blazers and nothing was going right for the Pelicans. That's basically about it.
Yeah. So Josh, before you get going, 4th quarter, 29-43. Scoring differential, and the Blazers won by 1. So what does that tell you? But Josh, what did you see in this one?
I had a whole thing all set to go. How the Pelicans just played one of their best.
I had a whole segment. I was like, are the Pelicans like, do I gotta make an apology because I had the Mavs making it over them? Do I gotta come over here and like do basketball repentance, apologize to Stan Van Gundy and Lonzo Ball? But they Pelican.
They didn't even play Lonzo Ball at the end of the game, which kind of confused me.
Yeah, it was more Bledsoe, which was kind of stupid.
Which was dumb. Damian Lillard had 50. Okay, I do have one thing I want to say.
Lonzo Ball 17 assists, by the way. I just want to put that out there. Incredible.
George kind of hit it on the nose for the rest of the game. It was nice to see CJ McCollum came back, but he kind of struggled after that first quarter. I think he went like 3 or 4, and then he didn't make a shot after that. They only led for like a little bit in the first, and then they were kind of just behind the whole game. One thing I want to mention, and nobody will really bring this up because it's not really an issue. I find it a little concerning that they just kind of let Dame throw up like 3-pointers like at the end of the game. Like there's no real.
It's a problem for the Pelicans.
No, it's a problem for Portland. Like they don't really have like a full-on system, and he makes them. He makes them all the time. But that's the thing. I
don't know.
No one's gonna bring it up as an issue because he makes them, but he just throws them up. Like at one point, I think they were down 2, and I was like, oh, if they set a play here and they make a 3, like they shut the momentum off. Dame took a screen from Cantor and just let it go, hit all backboard. And I turned the game off for a little bit because I thought like I think Zion made a layup after that. It was like 4-point game, it's over. And then I turned it on and the Pelicans choked. But like in a situation like that where other teams are playing, then I don't know if that really works. I just don't think it's an issue just because he makes them so often.
So I'll play both sides here. I see your point there because he only shots he missed for 3s. He went 6 for 13 from 3, 13 for 20 overall. So he only missed 3s. But it's Dame time. Like he's your best player. Is it just that you don't want him in the like? Are you good to respond? Because you're muted right now. Okay. Is it that you don't just want the ball in his hands to make a play, or is it just specifically the 3s?
I just don't like how I want the ball in his hand, obviously, but I just don't like how it's just like, oh, screen and huck it up. Like they
You
should
don't
make
like
like
the
a play for
green light he has,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
George, what'd you see from this thriller?
I mean, yeah, like I basically said it all. I mean, especially in the clutch time, they were going to Dame the whole time, and you get the ball in his hands every single time and let him go to work. And there's nothing really much else I need to say.
Nothing from the game at all.
I gave you my rundown. You asked me first.
It was a 17-3 comeback.
Yeah, I told you, like, New Orleans was getting nothing. They weren't making shots. They were making shots all 3 quarters. The fourth quarter, they weren't making anything, and then
no Lonzo
here comes
Ball,
Damian
no
Lillard. You know, it was just a classic team choking. Everything going for one team and not the other.
You watched the whole game. I know the first half, Lonzo Ball was playing great defense on Dame.
Yeah. No, not in the
not in the second half. So he was on Dame. He was on Dame, and he was kind of.
Yeah.
I know they benched him at the end for Eric.
I believe at one point only through like 3. I think Dame had barely had like 20. So I mean, he kind of just erupted.
Yeah. All right. Anything to add for that game or the whole day in general?
Nah, it's always time.
It's halftime time.
Let's go.
Moving on to halftime is where George scours social media, tells us what's going on, good and bad. Let's go to halftime for 2 reasons. Halfway through the show, and George is the half hooper. He'll be missing the Thursday show, so he's like a quarter hooper at this point too. So I mean, this is
gonna be my first absence. But anyways, so developing story: Heat and Thunder are discussing a trade that would send Ariza to Miami, and OKC is just seeking a 2nd-round pick for Ariza from any contending team, actually, not just the Heat. So what I want to ask you guys is, how would he be as a fit, and what other team should be interested in Ariza? I'll start with Lehman.
Well, he'd fit. I mean, your favorite saying: every team could use more 3-and-D players, unless you simply have too many of them. But the Heat don't. You always like to say they're trying to fill the Jay Crowder role, which I completely agree with. And you also, I don't know if this in the halftime report as well, but Avery Bradley might be on his way out. So
it's literally my next talking point.
well, I'm not going to touch on that.
Did you not read the preview?
Well, why are there 2 Heat segments?
Because I love the Heat. I'm a Heat apologist.
But my main point here is I feel like they can do a little better. You got PJ Tucker on the trade block as well. So I feel like you could do a little better than Trevor Ariza, who hasn't played a game this year.
He's a little bit older.
Well, actually, they're basically second rounder is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Josh, anything else?
Anyone can flip that.
I don't know how productive he's gonna be, but if he's like any sort of shell of what he was, and yeah, go for it.
Solid. And so since Lehman wanted to take my next talking point, I guess I'll just say
why the 2 Heat ones? Why not combine them?
Because we have a long third one. We have a long third segment. Anyways.
Pause.
What? This is great. So it's been made known that Avery Bradley has become available, and multiple contenders have been inquiring about him. And just basically like the general sense is, I don't think they've gotten what they've wanted to get out of AB. He's basically been hurt a lot of the time, but even when he was playing, I don't know if he was contributing well. So just a general throw out there question, like what team should be most interested in looking to grab him, Josh?
They should send him to one of his old teams, like the Celtics or the Lakers, and more of the Celtics. I think they need better guard play. If Marcus Smart's going to struggle, I don't think he'll struggle too much anymore, but they don't have much depth behind Kemba Walker, so might need a nice piece. I think the asking price is pretty low because he has been little to nothing, and the Celtics do have that trade exception, so they got a lot of money to spend.
Yeah, Lehman, what you think?
Speaking of old teams, I think the Clippers could use him. Patrick Beverley seems to be in and out of the lineup a lot, and Reggie Jackson, although staying healthy this season, has been injury prone his whole career, so I think they could use him. Also, Denver could use some backcourt defense, so I'd like him to see him in Denver if he even plays. Like I don't know, like
he's still hurt. He hasn't even returned from that calf injury. He's been out about a month. Okay,
cringe.
A little bit of a different last segment here. So I found this on Twitter, and it says,
"Oh boy, Twitter."
Someone puts every NBA team in front of you, and they say you have a chance to win up to 30 million. So 1 million per. Every head coach you can correctly identify. There's a catch. If you get one wrong, that's it. You don't get anything. You're allowed to skip. You can leave blanks. So it asks how much you're making, but what I'm going to do is do you want me to go through the teams, or are you just gonna say coaches and?
So me and Josh have the same list here because you sent us the tweet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could start us off here, and then I'll say the team, and then the coach, and then Josh will let me out of here.
All
Is that
right.
good? So I'll go first then. Atlanta Hawks. Nate McMillan.
Oh my God. Yeah, you got it.
I almost said Lloyd Pierce for that one. Boston has Brad
You guys
Stevens.
just gonna alternate?
We can all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We should get a What's your guess, Josh? My guess is like over under 25. What do you think?
I think under.
You think under?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I like you.
You can.
Why don't we instead of doing that, because we're a little bit gonna accelerate on time, why don't we just go through the list and we can talk about the teams that we're not entirely sure of? So like we know Boston, Brooklyn, Charlotte is
Just throw out the game. Throw it out. Throw it out. I up to you guys. I mean, I'm the host.
I mean, it only takes us 5 seconds to say one.
Yeah, just here, you know what? I'm gonna say the team. You guys rattle off the coach. We'll do that.
And we'll say quick. Skip if we don't know it.
Okay,
Go
Boston.
ahead.
Brad Stevens.
Brooklyn.
Steve Nash.
Charlotte.
Now I'll go.
You
don't know for sure. Don't know for sure.
I don't know for sure either.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Pass.
Michael Jordan.
I have an idea though. I have an idea.
Chicago.
Billy Donovan.
Cleveland.
It's a Bickerstaff, but I don't.
I think is it JB?
Is that your final answer?
No, not yet. No.
So pass.
It sounds right.
Pass. Okay. Detroit.
Dwayne Casey.
Yeah.
I almost said SVG.
That's a different one.
Indiana.
I don't know.
Miami.
Spolsters.
Lehman. You're the Heat apologist here. Bucks.
I knew you cut out.
Oh, sorry.
You want to answer this one, George?
He said it. It's Bud. Knicks.
Tibbs.
Tibbs.
Magic.
Steve Clifford.
Oh, he's not on the Hornets anymore.
You're wasting time.
Philly.
Doc.
Toronto.
Nurse.
Nick Nurse.
Wiz.
Scotty Brooks.
That's right.
Mavs.
Rick Carlisle.
Nuggets.
Mike Malone.
Yeah. Warriors.
Steph Curry / Steve Kerr.
Rockets.
And Silas. Don't say it.
Josh was thinking D'Antoni.
Do not say Steve Kerr's son's name ever. Don't do it.
I couldn't remember.
Clips.
Tyler.
Lakers.
What's that guy's name?
Frank Vogel.
LeBron.
Grizz.
Who?
I don't know.
Okay. I know who it is. Anyways, T-Wolves.
Oh shoot.
They just.
Oh no.
I knew you. This is the one. This is the one I said before the show, Lehman. I'm like, you're gonna.
Saunders. I'll play that much.
Okay. Pelicans.
That's SVG. That's SVG.
Thunder.
Don't know.
Skip.
Suns.
Monty.
Trailblazers.
I think Stotts is still their guy.
Yep. Kings.
Luke Walton.
And finish it off, the best record in the NBA.
You skipped the Spurs, but Pop.
Snyder. So how many did we miss? Because I mean,
okay, so you didn't get the T-Wolves, you didn't get the Grizz, you didn't get
the Hornets,
the Cavs, and the Pacers.
Okay, so Josh,
25 exactly.
So Josh, the only one I'm confident. The only one.
Do we want 26 and lock in JV Bickerstaff? Is it worth it?
You can take 25 mil.
I don't think it's JV.
Are you? Deal
we'll take 25. We'll take 25.
Deal for 25.
We'll take 25.
Can I say it's So we're taking 25. It's not JV Bickerstaff, is it?
It's JV Bickerstaff.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So Phil and I get Phil us in then. Who's the T-Wolves coach?
I believe it's Chris Finch, right?
Yeah, Chris Finch. Okay.
Hired him.
And then
I'm gonna need help for the Thunder and Pacers one. Thunder, it's like Mark Day.
Try to pronounce it. Give me a sec to look it up.
He's French. And then
I'll find the Hornets coach.
Oh, you missed the Memphis. I don't know if
Thunder.
I said Memphis or not, but it's Taylor Jenkins.
He's in 2K. Yeah.
Wow. What is that guy's name?
Nate Bjorkgren. And then the Hornets coach is Borrego, I believe. He's a pop.
Yeah, James Borrego.
He's a pop disciple.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So yeah, 25. Lehman's over under was spot on. I hope you bet the ML, I guess it's called the midline. I don't know. But yeah, that was probably one of the more fun halftime segments. Good job, guys. You walk away with $25 hypothetical $1 million. So congrats.
I get the 13 million because I knew JB Bickerstaff.
Sure.
No, you get 1 million.
Anyways, thank you guys for that. That was fun.
All right. So thanks as always, George, for the halftime. Just makes my day.
Gonna miss it on Thursday.
Rats. But final segment here. We're nearing the trade deadline. March 25th. I just want to hear some hypothetical trades. They could be ones that have been floating around that you've heard about, or maybe you popped in the trade machine. You were like, this works. So I'll go first. I don't normally go first a lot. I like PJ Tucker to the Raps. Bring him back. I've heard a lot of Drummond to the Raps, but I kind of like Spicy P at the center. I kind of do. And I think PJ Tucker would give them a lot of versatility. Him and OG would fit really nice next to Pascal at the 5. So I think that could work. Josh.
I have 2. One of them, obvious, is the Kyle Lowry to Philly. I still really want to see that happen.
Okay.
The second one, though, it doesn't look like the Pistons are budging on Jeremy Grant, but I still do think the Celtics need another guy. And with the Kings kind of exploding, Harrison Barnes is kind of a name that's been thrown out there. So maybe they need a piece like that. I don't know. Add some more defense.
Is he off the bench? Whatever guy they get that's a wingman, because they kind of have their starting 4 locked when healthy. They just need a 5.
Yeah, but I don't think they're getting Drummond, and even though it might happen, I don't know, but I don't think they're getting Drummond. So I think if they move Tatum back to the 4 and then they rock like a Kemba start, Marcus Smart finishes, I don't know, because I don't like Kemba Walker at the end of the games.
So you want to bench Kemba from the starting lineup, or you want to bring like Harrison Barnes to the bench?
Kemba would start, but I don't think he'd be a closer because he's a liability on defense. He's short and he's not making a shot, so he's practically useless at the end of the game.
Somebody's not gonna like that.
I'm not a big fan of the Celtics going to get another wing guy. I think they need guard play and they need big man play because they kind of got JB and Tatum kind of locked there. But I do like Harrison Barnes on the trade block. I think he can. The Kings need to commit to the tank. If you're going to let Luke Walton coach, you got to be prepared to lose games. So at least give him some teams that can lose games instead of keep him in games and make me upset. George.
So this one, his name's been floating around basically ever since he's been traded, and their owner's known to just throw anyone out there to get anyone back in return. So it's Victor Oladipo. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Golden State Warriors. They've been struggling with their roster construction a little bit, and I feel like they need a secondary guy to handle the ball because when Steph comes out, they had Nico Mannion running.
Nico Mannion's a bucket.
They had him running the second unit. I think Depot's a perfect guy to run a second unit, especially in Steve Kerr's system, because it benefits ball handlers like that. I know Josh is mad at me because of the first segment.
Let me be the nice guy here, and then I'll let Josh clean up here because he's more upset than I am, I guess. So Oladipo is 1 year rental, which would work out well for half a year rental, which would work out well for the Warriors just because Clay would come back next year and take that 2 guard spot. So what's the deal? Like, what are you giving up? Because if you're not going to want to resign him
is also on an expiring deal, and I know that the Rockets GM would love getting an expired deal because he sent Harden away for one.
But Oladipo's an expiring deal. So is it Oubre plus like a
soul for soul? I mean,
why would the Rockets do Oubre for Victor Oladipo? He's pretty, but
they sent out Harden for Oladipo. They'd do anything for the.
They got 8 picks.
Picks aren't always the best thing. I mean,
I think what's going on?
Listen. I think the Warriors might be desperate to give up that Minnesota pick because you have Steph.
Now you're talking crazy. I'm sorry for interrupting you so much, but you're talking crazy now. They're going to trade. What do you mean? For half a year of Victor Oladipo.
They could re-sign him. You don't know that.
And do what? Clay's coming back.
Clay can.
Okay, George. All right. Let's break this down for you. If you trade Kelly Oubre Jr., your initial point of Depot running the backcourt is stupid because who are they going to start when Kelly Oubre Jr. is gone? Oladipo, surprise. You trade a soul for a soul. You trade a starting shooting guard for a starting shooting guard.
Wiggins would then play the 3.
And Wiggins already plays the 3.
Yeah.
Who did they start at 2 guard?
Depot can run the second unit and start. They just would stagger the minutes.
Okay, you should have made that a little more clear. Okay, so I understand that part now. So Oladipo starts, but he
You thought I meant coming off the bench?
Well, and
You
then
said
you're
he'd run
talking
the
about
second
re-signing
unit.
him.
I meant.
And you're talking about re-signing
my
him,
bad,
and then
my
he's gonna
bad.
have to come off the bench.
No, my
And
bad.
also, do you think Oladipo knows how to shoot the 3-ball? I don't remember like.
Kelly Oubre doesn't know how to shoot the 3-ball. I'm with George on this one. That you
Yeah, but
can't
Kelly
argue
Oubre,
that.
Kelly Oubre 6'8", Oladipo 6'4".
I'm more concerned about the fact that the Warriors have a shortage of ball handlers on their squad currently. Nico Mannion.
Let Nico Mannion develop. Let Jordan Poole develop.
Okay, I get what you're saying with developing, but if you have a prime Steph Curry, it's kind of stupid to want the 51st pick to be your first point guard off the bench.
So you want a half-year rental of ball
Victor Oladipo did it today. 40 minutes, 34 points, 4 for 6 from 3. So he can shoot the 3-ball. I don't know where that came from.
What were
well, he hasn't shot well from the 3-point recently.
That's decent. I'm just saying, when you have a Steph Curry who's 33 in his prime, I don't know if you want to throw away years like this, especially because Clay is not going to come back like Clay. Like, you need to make moves to have a better contending
Well, you're saying
roster.
he's a half-year rental.
You don't know that. He could resign.
I said that.
We don't know. Of course, he could be a half-year rental, but I think if he likes the system and he's going to want to be on a winning team, I suppose.
Well, let's clear this up. I like the trade Oladipo to the Warriors. I do think they need a ball handler. I just don't know, one, how it gets done, and two, what's in it for the Rockets, because I don't know what can really come back there.
Oladipo, in his 17 games as a Houston Rocket, 30% from 3. So
Luka's 35, and that guy,
I get it, but I mean, we've seen players who have been
34 career-wise, so it did come from somewhere.
But anyways, that's besides the point. I don't want to get another Rockets feud. I'm not a Rockets fan at all, so let's move on. I'm a Warriors fan, whatever.
I have one more. I don't see how this deal doesn't get done, but George Hill to the Clips.
That was my second.
That's a good one.
They need a point guard. George Hill is just out there. They're going to trade him for nothing probably. It maybe a first. Who knows? So they're trading Ariza for a second.
Throw Patrick Beverly in Oklahoma.
Throw anyone and just get someone who can run an offense, because they don't have that. But like, if they can't get this deal done or get a point guard at the deadline, their front office is a waste. Like, I'm sorry, because like they're a point guard away from it. They just need someone who could slow the offense down and figure it out. And like, I love seeing the Clippers fail because I'm not a big fan of them. But like, it's so easy. Go get a point guard. It's not that hard. George Hill's out there. Go get one. It's not that hard.
Hopefully they can address it in a buyout too. We'll see who gets there. But yeah,
if they have the same squad that they're running here, because I know the Nuggets are going to get better as the season goes on. Lakers will probably get at least one buyout player. Jazz are only going to get better if they keep shooting like this. And yeah, so I mean, they need to make some moves.
Complete team. Yeah.
Any other trades you guys got?
Nah.
Nothing.
Nope.
What about you, Joshua?
No, I mean, the George Hill one I wanted to hit on, but you got it on the point. Like, the Clippers need a point guard back.
Yeah, I'm a little upset because like they got like it.
Go get Darren Collison from Jehovah's Witness program.
Jeannie Buss tried. If Jeannie Buss can't do it, no one can.
Took him out to dinner and courtside seats at a Laker game, and he said no. So
the Lord needed him. But that's gonna do it for tonight's episode. Thanks for watching or listening. And if you like what you're making sure to follow us on. That's true, man. I'm like, George, I forgot the look head.
I have mine actually.
You have yours? Okay, let's start.
Let
with
George go first.
Because I have my look head, but I forgot. I forgot
the March 17th. It is not an ESPN game somehow, but I might take Lehman's actually. Brooklyn versus Indiana. Karis LeVert's return against his former team. I just want to see how they match up with the wings, because LeVert's back. It's another wing to throw at the Brooklyn juggernaut offense. Just want to see how their defense is overall, and hopefully Sabonis and Turner can take advantage of the lack of bigs in the New York Brooklyn net system.
Josh, you go, because I have a few. I want to know where you're gonna go.
Are you sure, Lehman?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't want to take any of yours because made somebody pretty upset last time I did that.
That's why he went first.
I'm gonna throw I'm not even gonna do a look ahead game. I'm gonna do a look ahead team. I'm gonna do the Hornets because for St. Patty's Day, they have to go play Nuggets in their puke green jerseys. And then the day after, they got to go to Staples Center and play LeBron James and the Lakers. This is a very big test for a young team. And I think that this will kind of see how they stand with some of the bigger, more scary dogs of the Western Conference. So,
well, I'm going to cheat too. I'm going to do a look ahead channel. Wednesday, ESPN. We got a doubleheader. Bucks for Sixers. And then we got the rematch.
It's useless. There's no Embiid. There's no Embiid.
What if the Sixers win?
There's no Embiid and there's no Meek Mill to hit the bell for Christmas time.
What if the Sixers win? Then it's a game.
Tobias Harris will have to score 45, I think.
What's your Tobias Harris prediction?
I think he scores 18. I think Ben Simmons has a triple-double.
And then second game of the doubleheader, Clips Mavs rematch. So that'll be fun there. I got a little more stock in that one, but I want to cheat too, just like Josh, because it's fun.
Yep.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Kyle Korver commercial. Anyways, I think, did I forget anything else, guys?
No, Cerritos.
All right, I can hit the outro. All right.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at THHoopers. Drop a comment. Anything, I guarantee I'll get a response. George never cut like without his phone. Yada, yada, yada. We love y'all. Besides that, thanks for being an OG, and take care of y'all.